It is so simple and yet so hard for so many sports teams and so many redesigns and so many organizations out there that believe we need more jerseys and more logos and more helmets. More is less. And less is more. Where have you heard that before? If only the Houston Texans would have followed that guidance. Hey, before we go any further, remember to subscribe to this channel. Click on the button below me. That way you'll get automatic notifications when we have DA deep dives like this one, videos throughout the week, and when we go live on Sunday nights at Watch DA Live. That's Sunday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern right here on YouTube. The Texans' hearts were in the right place. They haven't had a uniform redesign since they actually launched the organization back in '02, and there was a very early 2000s Y2K vibe. It was stale and dated, not in a good way like the 1950s or 60s that could look classic and retro. Instead, it was dated kind of like Christina Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle type era, O-Town type era, early Destiny's Child type era. So they were due for a rebrand. And when we got the results, after months, it felt like, of speculation and weeks of buildup and all these little itty-bitty leaks that I'm sure the Texans helped get out there, we finally got the uniform redesigns. Now, let me give credit to the Texans on this. They built this into a thing. It was fan-centric, they said. They brought crowds in. They did focus groups. Drips and drabs, social media was all about it. They really soaked this for everything that it was worth. And it made it feel like an event when it finally came around. And then they came around and the home blue jerseys, they're much nicer. Ultimately, even though the Texans were born out of the early aughts, the helmet still works. That steer logo I still think can be iconic. And so you stick with that helmet, and then you just make sure that all the 2000s touches of the home jerseys are flattened a little bit. I don't mind the two steer logos on the side of the sleeves. I'd probably prefer traditional block numbers, but you know, hey, beggars can't be choosers. They modernized the look of the whole home jersey. They modernized the look of the pants. It's a clean, simple, good-looking uniform. I give it a thumbs up. All right, now the regular road jerseys. No problem going white with dark bottoms. I think the dark pants actually look very crisp as well. I like that they streamlined the piping down the sides of the pants. It's by and large pretty safe and pretty good, except for the horns on the shoulder pads. Is that going to age well? Or are we just replaying the same mistakes as 22 years ago? At some point, the steer horns, especially pointing forward that kind of feel like it's an awkward angle, are going to feel very 2020s. Just mirror the home jerseys. Simple. Put the two steer logos on the side. Maybe there's an alternate logo you want to throw up there. But the horns moving forward has a little Jacksonville Bulls in it, doesn't it? Okay, then we get to the alternate uniforms. And here's where less is more. Have only one alternate. And instead, the Texans had to just keep gobbling up more s'mores. Sticky fingers and Hershey's chocolate all over their face and gooey marshmallows. It's like, dude, you only need two of those s'mores and you should be good for the night. All red. This is a leftover concept from the Color Rush days. We know how stupid those always looked on TV. It looked cheap, it looked gimmicky, and I think that these full reds are not a good idea. If you want to do red helmet, red jersey, white pants, I can get on board. But red, it is way too red. And we've seen a couple of teams try this with red, and it usually just looks like some type of sunspot on your screen. Then we get to the helmets. And okay, the helmets could be kind of a cool concept, kind of like the Eagles' wings going backwards. But again, if this is your alternate helmet, you should just focus on this as your alternate helmet. It's like the Ducks have a good idea, except it's usually flattened with a lot of different loud colors, and it loses the essence of what the design is. But then we finally get to the H-Town City concept stuff, which is just so dopey with its Nike marketing speak. So now we have another alternate uniform. And these are supposed to be an ode to the Houston Oilers. The Tennessee Titans have ownership over those retro throwback uniforms, and so you can't just dust off the Oilers. It's a sin, it's a shame, but it is what it is. Everyone loves them in Houston. They wish they could bring them back, and that's why the Texans want to bring back some type of a color scheme from those uniforms. These were the big reveal. They had the love you blue, light blue, baby blue, powder blue that brings back all those memories of Earl Campbell and Dan Pastorini and the old Astrodome and Bum Phillips and the big cowboy hat on and the cowboy boots. And this is what Houston football has been known for. And then you give it to the Oilers fans / Texans fans in the form of a Gothic H. And it's a Gothic H in light blue, and that's it. The bulk of the uniform isn't the powder blue. The pants aren't powder blue. It's just kind of like the trimmings of the powder blue. Look, if I'm dying for a ribeye steak, I'm absolutely dying for a big hunk of juicy beef on my plate, on my table, for my dinner. You can't give me a baked potato, mac and cheese, a Caesar salad, and a little beef tartare on the side and tell me that's my steak for the night. And also, it feels like we're combining a lot of things here. We've got a Gothic H with a red star on the side of it, which almost looks like a Canadian maple leaf hanging off the side. I actually really like the logo of the Texans as light blue. I think that shadowing's really cool. The light blue, the baby blue pops, the battle red eye. That should be the helmet logo. I'm just looking at these pictures on my phone trying to figure this thing out. So there's an alternate helmet, which is the horn, and then an alternate to the horn, which is a Gothic H. And the Love You Blue is supposed to be nostalgic for the old days, but it's only in the H and then the outline of a red number. But mostly the helmet and the jersey and the pants and the uniform are really just the normal dark blue or a dark blue or something really dark. I don't see a lot of the powder blue in there. I mean, look, I think it's passable, but in terms of this grand fashion experiment that the Texans suggested they were onto, I think it comes up woefully short. Man, those Oilers uniforms are so clean. They're so nice. I know you can't use those, but give me something that makes me think of those. This does not make me think of Warren Moon. Less is more. In this case, more is less. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the channel by clicking on this button right next to me. Appreciate it very much. That's for DA Deep Dives. And then also our Sunday Night Live show, Watch DA Live at 7 o'clock Eastern Time right here on YouTube. Appreciate you watching, everybody. I'm DA, Damon Amendolara. We'll see you next time.